Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Emma LaFave, and today we are going to be painting beautiful peonies in a vase. So let's jump in and get started. Okay friends, so today I wanted to paint this vase I have of peonies. So I'm not sure if as of right now as I'm filming this, if I posted the video of this flower. I painted this earlier today. Don't know if I love it, but now I want to paint a vase of them, or a vase of them, that I got for Mother's Day. They're just like in full bloom, and I know they're gonna die soon, so I want to take advantage of painting them. They're absolutely gorgeous. Some of my favorite flowers. Just like, come on. How stunning are these? And I don't want to do something that's totally detailed or anything like that. I just want to kind of play around and have a little bit of fun with it today. So I'm painting in my Etcher Lab cold press watercolor sketchbook that I do most of my floral work in. All flowers actually. And it's a portrait orientation. I think this might be an A5. I love these Etcher sketchbooks. The paper's really nice. So I'm going to be using that today. I'm going to be working with my Ultimate palette, which the colors are listed in the description. And then I have some brushes here. I have my flat 1/2 inch and a size 8 round. Use whatever you have, and water, and we're ready to go. Okay, so I want to be a little bit more loose with this. I don't want to be too detailed. I want to just have some fun. And if you hear a little boy screaming in the background randomly, he's trying to sleep. It's bedtime and he's like on and off sleeping. So let's just keep going. Okay. So I'm wondering if I want to sketch out kind of just a general idea of the flowers. So I'm just going to do like a big round circle here for one. And then I'm going to have one this way where it's kind of more of like a bowl shape, like that. Okay. Just to give myself some guidelines. And then maybe one back here, like so. And then I'm going to have some like bits of greenery popping out from here and here, maybe here. And then I'm going to have my vase. And I'm not going to do it exactly the way it is in front of me. I don't think. I'm just going to do kind of like a bulb shape. Like this. Okay, and then maybe the top of it might get a little lost underneath the flowers. But this is just kind of my guideline. I want to keep it loose within these guides. I typically don't work like this, but I want to try something new today. So I'm just going to lighten up these lines because I don't want them underneath my painting. So I'm just taking my kneaded eraser, lightening them up so I can see, but also not too dark. We're ready to go. So I want to like focus more on like simple shapes. My son's talking to himself in his crib. Simple shapes rather than the detail of the peonies. So I'm going to try with my flat 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to start with a really light wash of my quinacridone rose for this. And I'm just watering it down. Okay, and if you feel like you have too much water on your brush, you can just tap it on your paper towel a bit. Now this one is mostly open, so I'm just going to start by doing these little strokes in the center. Might be a little bit darker in the center, like that. And then they get a little bit lighter actually, and more peachy, almost. My son is just singing to himself. And so I'm just getting a little bit lighter. A little bit peachier, just being really loose with it. And then I'm going to kind of have some of them kind of coming down, like they're falling a bit. Because they have these really tiny kind of spiky almost petals. They're interesting. Then I'm going to do, with just the quinacridone rose, some bigger falling petals. And I'm going to go like that. With this brush, I like to use it on it, like its corner. And I find it makes these really perfect peony petals almost. Now, as you can see my lines underneath. Okay, so if you're doing that, usually typically once you paint over it, you can't erase those lines. Let me see if I can. Okay, I can kind of lift it, but I don't want them underneath. Oops, of course. Okay, let's try again. Like that. I should have erased them better. Okay, and I'm just going around with these kind of jagged edged shapes for the petals that have fallen, like so. And the ones that are like on the outside are a little bit more pinky, and then you have that kind of light peach. But I really love this brush for these kinds of petals. Okay, then quickly I am going to go back in. I'm going to add a little bit, like I have this little puddle here of this like dark brownish black color. I'm going to add some to my pink, and I'm just going to tap it in just a bit where there's a base to some of those petals, just a little bit, not a lot. There's a bit of a mark from when I erased, but that's fine. Okay, we can go over that after anyway. All right, so there's that one. Actually, I think I might lift that a bit. Don't love that with a wet on wet. Let's go for this one now. I'm gonna erase these. All right, and I'm gonna start, let's get a bit more fresh paint. I'm gonna start with the center here. It's a little bit darker pink, like that. And this one is pointing this way, so you're gonna see more side petal. Now I'm gonna make my little peachy kind of color just by adding the smallest amount of yellow. And I'm gonna start doing those little spiky kind of petals going around at the top here. Like that. Then I'm going to grab a bit more of just the pink, and I'm going to do petals that have folded upward. So you want this kind of bowl shape here, and then these petals with the edges like that. And we can fill in some of this white space. Try and lift it up a little bit lighter. And then some more back here. And then there's some that have fallen. So I'm gonna grab my brush and then just have some that have fallen down. Like that. Okay, so there's our second one. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of that peachy color and just go in here. There we go. Okay. And then our last one, you're just going to see little bits of the peach. Again, I'm going to erase that line. Kind of these spiky, peachy petals. And then grab my pink. And then just more, oops, that's a little too dark. More of that kind of curved up petal, like that. And I'm just leaving a little bit of white space in between. We can make it a little bit more detailed after, but again, we're not trying to make it too detailed for this. Okay, we're trying to make it kind of simple, but using that white space in between for the center areas for those like kind of spikier petals is what creates the separation. And then when we go back and add a little bit of shadow, it'll create more. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. Now I want to create the vase. So my vase is pink, but I wonder if I should do a different color. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like a darker, maybe like a dusty blue of some sort. So a bit of like ultramarine. I know you guys can't see very well. And then a little bit of, let me try and move it over. So a little bit of ultramarine, then a little bit of orange here. Creates this dark, dusty blue. And we're just gonna go with it. Like so. Now I do want some greenery over top, like kind of falling down. So I'm just gonna leave a little bit of white space. Again, this is loose, so it doesn't have to be super detailed. I'm just filling that in. Like that. Maybe a little bit darker to one side, so I'm just going to grab a little bit more of that color. Just make a little bit more of it. Too orange. You can use whatever color you like for this. I'm going to tap some darker blue up at the top here for a bit more shadow, and then around the side. A little bottom here too. Like so. Like that. Okay, now I want to let everything completely dry before we continue. Okay, now that everything's dry, I'm going to take my size 8 round and we're just going to carve out some shadows within the peony. Nothing too crazy or defined, just a little bit of extra shadows. So these ones that have kind of fallen down, I'm just going to go a little bit darker towards the base of them and then bring some lines up like that, just so you can kind of get the effect that they have fallen down. Like that. Okay. And then some up here, not too much. I do want a little bit more in the center. Like that. A little bit more vibrant towards the base there. I don't want too much. I really, with this, I gotta figure out where to stop. I feel like with my last one that I did, the single one, I just kept going and it looked a little bit better if I stopped earlier. Okay, so just enough to get the idea of some of the shadows and stuff. Okay, so there's that with just the quinacridone rose. I'm going to kind of carve out some shadows over here just so it shows that this is behind this peony. So I added some dark pink color, and then I'm just going to kind of blend it out. And then have some of those lines going upward. Like that. Okay. And then Over here, just to kind of separate this peony from this one, I'm adding some shadow to this. So I'm carving out this petal, right? And I'm going to add shadow behind it to make this stand out. Like that. I just add the darker color. Then I wash off my brush, dry it on my paper towel, then kind of blend it out so it's not super harsh. I'm going to bring some of that over here. Same over here. And always have your lines curving with the shapes of the petals, right? Have some even from the tips of the petals coming back. I have some shadow. This one that's falling down. And I'm just kind of creating some lines here. So there's shadows over here. Kind of going around these lighter peach ones. And then the center of this one, remember we kind of saw like that one. Again, not too much. I feel like this one needs a little bit of lines here. See, I like it like this. I don't want to do too much else because I feel like I'm going to ruin it. But it is fun to kind of keep going. So I'm just like, tell me when to stop. Okay. I'm just going to add a little bit more shadow. I feel like I want this one to come to a bit more of a point. Like this looks a little odd. I'm going to add a little bit more shadow around some of these petals, just so this one stands out, and then just blend it out. Like that. Maybe a bit of that darker pink here for that center, just a little bit. Okay. So I like that. I'm wondering if I should go a little bit with I just added a little bit of that kind of brown blackish color. And I might just add just a tad bit to some of these darker pinks, just a little bit. Just for a bit more depth and shadow to some of these darker parts. Make it stand out just a little bit more. Like that. And like that. Okay, I think I gotta leave that. The only thing is that like the centers, like here with the peach, is looking a little flat to me. And I kind of just want to add little bits. Not too much. I don't want it too busy. So I'm just taking like a light wash of peach and just kind of adding a little bit more to it. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. All right, let's do a little bit to our stem and our leaves. So I'm going to grab some olive green. And these are pretty funky looking leaves that I left a white space for, but that's fine. They don't have to be perfect. And I'm just going to add a little bit of green. I'm going to add a little bit of darker green right at the base. Like that. And then I'm going to do some other leaves going around. And they can be kind of funny looking shaped. They don't have to be perfect leaves. Like that. Over here. I have one kind of coming up this way. And then grab a little bit of my dark green. Just kind of tap it into the base of some of those leaves. Some of it's dry already. Some of them are still wet, so they're bleeding, but I kind of want it to be a little bit more interesting looking anyway. Not so polished. All right. I'm going to just add a little bit more green around this petal. I feel like a little bit more here. Like that. All right, and then lastly, I'm just going to take that bluish color again. Just add a little bit more definition to the side. Maybe just a quick shadow underneath. Maybe a little bit of dry brush just for a bit of texture. So I'm just skimming my brush. Also in a scooping kind of way, so it makes this look rounded. If you go straight across, it's not going to give any movement to the vase. It's just going to be straight, and it's not going to give that illusion that it's rounded. Okay, like that. And then lastly, I think I just want to add like a shadow or something. Purple shadow, why not? To the bottom here. Like that, maybe a little bit darker. Like that. And then just to kind of show that it's on a table, I'm just going to grab a little bit of burnt sienna, just kind of bring it up here. Wash off my brush, dry it, blend it down a bit. More. Like that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I actually really like this one. This is fun. It's a little bit more on the loose side. Not super detailed, but just fun with color and shapes and all that. So there we go. There is my vase of peonies. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a great day, guys. Bye.